This video is brought to you by catbeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats.
How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Before I start this video, I would like to give a shout out to my sponsor, catbeast.com. Catbeast.com is your one-stop shop for custom snapbacks made from people all around the world. You can design your own custom hats, snapbacks, beanies, and finding other great designs that suit your fitting. Looking at the 2023 NBA preseason title odds, if there was any doubt, you guessed it, the Golden State Warriors, the favorites, rightfully so, the most experienced postseason team with the best chemistry, the big three of Steph, Clay, and Andrew Wiggins. How about Draymond Green, who got into some trouble with Jordan Poole and Kevon Looney? Now the Golden State Big Three, all in their 30s now, while All-Star Andrew Wiggins with a year left on his contract, looking to get another max deal. The terrific underrated Looney, who's been a beast on the glass in the playoffs, still just 26 years old, been with Golden State since the 73 win year. Many of these guys will miss some games, not caring how their records will play out as long as they get a high seed. Now, let's take a look at the bench of the Warriors. The backups of Dante DiVincenzo, Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, JaMychal Green, and James Wiseman. A dangerous roster with tons of depth, shooting, hustling, defense, size, and perhaps even deeper than last season's Warriors. Anything short of a conference finals would be considered a disappointment. Looking at this roster, probably accurate for them to win it all. What's even more disappointing is a bunch of teams with the highest preseason title odds this century actually didn't even make it past the second round. While the 2022 Phoenix Suns were the title favorites, yes, they were actually tied for fifth. From being unstoppable in the regular season to shitting the bed to Luka Doncic, many fans had their teams dreaming for a championship parade, but ending up losing in the first round. Now, let's take a look at all the preseason title favorites according to Basketball Reference this century who lost in either the first or second round of the playoffs. Starting with the 2003 Los Angeles Lakers. The Kobe-Shaq dynasty, at the height of their powers in the early 2000s, after a convincing sweep of the Nets, it seemed like the two were only getting started. A version similar to the 90s Bulls, already considered the best 1-2 punch the game has ever seen. Winning 6 titles together seemed very realistic at the time. If anyone was to tell you before the start of the 03 season it'd be the last title Kobe and Shaq would win together, you laugh at them and think they're crazy. LA being a plus 180, expected to win around 58 to 59 games. The Sacramento Kings, the most stacked team, a win short in one of the most controversial series all time to get to the finals the year before, a plus 300. The loaded Mavs with all-star Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki, good players Michael Finley, Nick Van Exel, and Rafe LaFrentz. San Antonio with lone superstar Tim Duncan and David Robinson last season, second year Tony Parker and rookie Manu Ginobili. The Nets with Jake Kidd and Kenyon Martin. LA knocked off New Jersey June 12th, 23-year-old Kobe and 30-year-old Shaq. Everybody knew the two were unstoppable together. David Stern's big dream of having a big market team continued to dominate, a team for the ages, but the hostility between Kobe and Shaq grew. After almost 3 months for a decision, September 11 of 03, Big Shaq finally had surgery on his big toe with a 6 to 8 week rehab process, missed the first 12 games, always depended on playing himself back to shape to become unstoppable by the playoffs. The Lakers started 3-9 without him and continued to struggle at the start of Shaq's return, given Kobe wanted to be like Mike and continued to master his craft consistently practicing. The talented O'Neal, more laid back, enjoyed his summer outside of basketball a little too much, said he got hurt on company time, so he will rehab on company time, rubbed Kobe the wrong way. Combined with no major accusations, third leading scorer Derek Fisher averaged just 10.5 points, an 11-19 record after Christmas, before recovering, went 39-13 rest of the way, winning 8 of his final 9 in the loaded West, managed to get the 5th seed, came back down 2-1 versus Garnett's Timberwolves, a tougher opponent than anybody in the weak East, only to face MVP Duncan in the next round after both teams protected home court. The 5th game in San Antonio, down by as many as 25 before a furious rally led by Kobe's 36, the defining moment of the entire 03 playoffs, one of the rare not-so-clutch Robert Horry moments. Lakers down 2, jumper in and out, coming all the way back to falling inches short. Big shot Rob became no-shot slop, an absolute travesty. 0 of 18 from 3 in the series, fatigue and all the years winning led to tiredness, having to go all out in the regular season to pick up Shaq's slack, caught up with the entire team. Rick Fox missed the entire Spurs series with injury. Devin George tore up his ankle, hobbled just to make the 5th seed after the early season struggles, combined with the hungry Tim Duncan, a 37.16 rebound closeout Game 6, 2006 San Antonio Spurs. After winning 2 titles in 3 years, Tim Duncan was regarded as the best player in the game from 2003 to 2005, already solidified himself as the best power forward all time before age 30. In his 9th season, the franchise had its best regular season record, 63 wins, up until 2016. In Duncan's final year, the emergence of young Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, first team all-defense Bruce Bowen, a few more titles were likely, giving the discipline and culture of the team the most perfect quiet superstar in a small market you can ever find. While the Suns without Amari picked up Michael Finley and Nick Van Exel, Duncan played a ton of ball from winning the 03 title to the Olympics, winning another ring against the grueling Pistons. His scoring dipped below 20 points per game for the first time in his career. A tough first round opponent versus the Sacramento Kings, not the Kings of old, but the trio of Mike Bibby, Bonzi Wells, and Ron Artest, despite winning in 6, wasn't as easy as anticipated, only in time for a Texas-sized heavyweight showdown in the series that would forever change the playoff format. Same division, the 2 best records in the conference, Dallas got the 4th seed, giving the Suns and Nuggets 54 and 44 wins, winning their division, despite the 7-seeded Lakers having more wins than Denver. The Mavs' 6th greatest title odds, Dallas coached by familiar territory Avery Johnson. Duncan was a beast all series, but so was Nowitzki. Super evenly matched. Dallas 20-point lead Game 7 before the defending champs came back, actually took a 3-point lead thanks to Ginobili's 3 with 32 ticks left. Enough time for Nowitzki to get his improbable and 1, force OT, nothing left in the tank for San Antonio, a series for the ages, but in today's NBA, this absolutely would have been a conference finals matchup. Dallas might have been the only team to have beaten the Spurs in 06. If San Antonio played Wade and Shaq's Heat, wouldn't shock me if these Spurs would have beaten Miami. The 2007 Dallas Mavericks, one of the biggest upsets in NBA history, falling in the first round, almost unimaginable. The height of his chemistry powers of defensive-minded quick Devin Harris, sharpshooter Jason Terry, Josh Howard, one of the best small forwards in his prime, and superstar Nowitzki, the best scoring power forward in the game at age 28. After seasons of 58 and 60 wins, this team was supposed to be something special, appearing like nobody could stand in their way. I cut a part of their face in these graphics purposely after a humiliating beatdown in the 07 playoffs. My god, losing to the 8th seed, that's absolutely brutal. After a devastating finals meltdown with a combination of controversial calls favoring the Heat, missed free throws and unnecessary suspensions, a costly waste of a timeout, and the city getting too ahead of themselves pre-planning the parade, a team so close to winning it all took their frustrations out, dominating the regular season, 67 wins in the loaded West. Phoenix with a healthy Stoudemire back, San Antonio still being San Antonio. Considered blessed to have the best record, whether it was San Antonio or Phoenix waiting for them in the conference finals, avoiding both in the semis. Whoever to get out of the West, one of these 3 teams were a 99.9% chance guaranteed to win it all. But standing in the way and crushing their title hopes, the We Believe Warriors got hot, winners of 9 of his final 10 games just to make the playoffs. Much like how Avery Johnson knew Pop and Duncan inside out from the year before, this time it was Don Nelson who knew Avery, Dirk, and the Mavs game plan inside out. The worst possible matchup for Dallas, all 3 regular season matchups came from losses to the Warriors. After starting the season 0-4, after November 8, not counting the 2 Golden State losses, these Mavs would have had a record of 67-9, a 55-game stretch of going 50-5. The Mavs having a controlled, low turnover, half-court style offense with no true point guard. Nelson knew Nowitzki's flaws back to the basket, sloppy with ball protection. Dallas had the tools and size to slow down Duncan. Spurs with the physical Eric Dampier and Sadana Diop. Both were huge liabilities against the small ball Warriors. Johnson took Dampier out the series. The Mavs record of 69-19 in 07 plus the playoffs, nearly 37% of their losses went to prime Baron Davis, the athletic Jason Richardson, and sharpshooter Steven Jackson. Dallas trying to go small to match Golden State out their comfort zone for Coach Avery. Nelly simply had his way. No other team would have beaten the 07 Mavs that year in that fashion. Dubs got overwhelmed in 5 by the bigger Utah Jazz team, a team Dallas would have likely beaten in 6 or fewer. Talk about the worst possible matchup and the worst timing. The 2008 Dallas Mavericks, once again the preseason faves alongside San Antonio. After a 67-win season, the team underachieved in the loaded West, ended up 51-31, 7th seed, talks of Avery getting tuned out soon and losing the locker room, which he was replaced by Rick Carlisle the following season. A shocking midseason trade of Devin Harris, Keegan Horn, Sadana Dop, and a few others for Jason Kidd caused some disruptions with the coming out party of the rejuvenated Lakers and CP3's Hornets. 7 games separated between the 1st and 8th seed. Mavs actually 35-17 before the Kidd trade and 16-14 with him. Jason Terry took a dip offensively, Stackhouse aging, and missed a third of the regular season. Kidd known for making almost everybody better. Somehow Josh Howard regressed and didn't mesh with Kidd. The aftermath of the 07 defeat arguably broke Avery Johnson and the trust of the locker room. While Harris wasn't a pass-first type point guard, Johnson even had the audacity to bench Kidd the final 30 seconds in a tight game versus the Spurs. Dallas failed to score on their final possession because he didn't trust Kidd's shooting abilities. Combined with the Josh Howard birthday flyer distractions during the playoffs, shot 29% from the field first round. Johnson canceled practice the day before Game 5, where the 22-year-old CP3 and the Hornets knocked them out in 5. After up 2-0 in 06 versus Miami, Johnson's teams went 3-12 in playoff games. Avery's need for control versus Kidd's need to freestyle conflicted with each other's agendas. The last straw in trying to save his job, a total mess of a season. It wasn't Dirk's fault given all the franchise disappointments. The fact that Nowitzki remained with the team and ended up winning the title 3 years later is why his championships were the most rewarding. Boston Celtics 2009 tied with the Lakers could have been an epic 7-game series with everyone healthy. The main reason for not advancing to the conference finals, having no KG for the playoffs, ruined Boston's chances of repeating. Teams started out looking like they could go down as one of the best all time. A historical 27-2 start, the best ever through 29 games, ripping off 19 straight wins before losing to Kobe's Lakers on Christmas Day. The team 44-11 before Garnett's injury February 19, still finished 62-20, needed 7 games to knock off the young Bulls. Backup Leon Poole hurt second game of the playoffs. Team simply ran out of gas against Dwight Howard's Magic. A typical Doc Rivers blown series lead, 29 points scored second half of Game 6, netted in just 82 total for Game 7 at home, destroyed by 19. Losing one of the very best players in the game's gonna have that type of impact. A healthy, older, less talented Garnett the following season knocked off Orlando in 6. Los Angeles Clippers 2020, maybe the most bizarre year of our lifetime. All season long was the Lakers-Clippers non-stop debate. Looked like it could have been a serious rivalry. An absolute travesty of a meltdown. From COVID delays to suspensions, it would have been way better off for the Clippers if the season wouldn't have continued and the bubble would have never happened. The stacked squad of reigning Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Pat Bev, the defender who was sleeping heavily underperforming. My God, an absolute disaster of a meltdown. It was honestly disgusting and painful to watch. A loaded bench, Lou Williams before the Magic City incident looked like the 6th man before playing like Tragic Pity in the bubble. Montrezl Harrell, 6th Man of the Year winner, already had some issues with teammates. Kawhi and PG hated how Leonard got the superstar treatment. Pat Beverly talked a lot of smack. Team traded Mo Harkless for Marcus Morris. Many of the guys besides Kawhi acted like they were already champions. I made an absolute travesty Clipper video 2 years ago. If you haven't watched it, go click on the link above. Pandemic Pete's nickname form, struggled mightily in Disney, under 36% shooting first round versus Dallas. Nobody expected the Clips to lose to the Nuggets, up 3-1 as they should. Many already planned for an LA Conference Final showdown, only for Doc Rivers, the king of 3-1 shivers to happen. Blew double-digit leads all 3 games. Jokic, best player in the series, toyed with the smaller Harold, who became a huge playoff liability. His career hasn't been the same since. Montrezl anticipating upwards to an $80 million contract, but settled after, choking a 19-point Game 6 lead to a humiliating Game 7 beatdown of Leonard and George going a combined 10 of 38. Given all the insane hype, the Leonard vs LeBron comparisons, still one of the most pathetic meltdowns in postseason history. 2021 Los Angeles Lakers. After winning the title, Rob Pelinka, at the height of his GM powers, praised by everybody before the season started, extended LeBron for 2 more years, waited for AD to resign, added big names like Marc Gasol, free agent after playing for Toronto, former rival Montrezl Harrell backstabbing the Clippers looking for a ring. 3-and-D Wesley Matthews, and Dennis Schroeder drew a trade who came in second place for 6th man after losing the likes of Dwight Howard, Rondo, Danny Green, and JaVale McGee, a combination of a short turnaround rest after playing their hearts out in the bubble, not even a parade to celebrate, injuries to Anthony Davis, who was already banged up the latter part of the finals, sidelined for 30 games between February to April with calf and heel issues, a 28-13 record looking solid, but LeBron sprained his ankle versus Atlanta March 20th, missed 5 weeks, given many of the 2020 role players were gone and little time to set good chemistry with the new guys. James came back for 2 games, didn't look like himself before missing the next 6, returning for the final 2 regular season affairs. Beat Golden State in the play-in but had to play the second-seeded Suns, a healthy team that built their chemistry. The addition of Andre Drummond also didn't help but cursed the team with his famous meme, Game 3 up 2-1. Davis got taken out Game 4, close first half, only for the team to lose, get smoked by 30 in Game 5, AD called street close, had no business playing in Game 6, only to hurt himself even more. Vogel and the team defense absolutely collapsed without AD. Many claim a healthy 2021 Lakers squad would have won it all. Those same fans also ignored the injuries to Brooklyn, who was clearly the most talented team with a healthy roster. The 2022 Brooklyn Nets, a full year of Durant, Irving, and Harden, stopped by a vaccine mandate, injuries, distractions. Irving's personal decision damaged the locker room and team chemistry the whole season. Harden still not his full self after the hamstring injury. Every week was gonna be uncertain. Fans simply had to protest to their politicians. Of course, there weren't going to be any special changes with the former lousy New York City mayor. The team started 23-9, looked sharp with KD and Harden together before literally the whole roster caught COVID, left the team no choice but to bring Irving back for road games. Durant then got hurt, Irving still couldn't play home games, Harden frustrated and couldn't take it anymore. It's an absolute travesty. The team fell under 500 after his 55th game of the season. Coach Nash showed his flaws even after the vax mandate lifted for Irving. The damage already been done, not enough time together. Irving and Durant 17 total games played together, a subpar 44-38 record, beat the Cavs in the play-in, only to get swept by the better chemistry Celtics. All 4 games were close, the team got what they deserved, the front office gave the stars too much power, the organization simply lost control of Irving, allowed him to do whatever he wanted in the last 2 previous seasons. Also, the loss of Jeff Green, a proven smart vet who could have kept the locker room together. Durant's lack of leadership abilities failed to help solve any conflicts between Irving and Harden. Too much player empowerment. 2023 could go either one of 2 ways. At least they're not the favorites anymore. Thank you so much for watching this video. Which one of these teams on this list from this century, the preseason title favorites, shocked you most that they didn't make it past the second round? Let me know in the comments below. With the upcoming season coming up, I'll be talking a lot about the current NBA. So if you love the NBA, hit the subscribe button. See you soon. I love all of you. See you next time.